Hi Binance user 4B8DA and DB86A. Nice to have you guys with us. Thanks for joining. It's, what day is today? It's the 21st of August. It's a Monday. If I'm not completely lost. Yes, it's a Monday. And it's the 21st of August. Welcome to Hashed Out. Today we're going to be talking about the latest crypto news. Hope you guys are ready. I know I currently am. So let's take a look. So yesterday we talked about China's Xi Jinping heading for the BRICS summit. Not yesterday. Friday we talked about him heading to the BRICS summit in Johannesburg. Hi Kiko67, nice to have you with us. So let's go through the news. So these are from Friday evening after our last show. Mika doesn't guarantee absolute safety, warns EU securities head. Mika aims to standardize crypto rules across the EU, but doesn't promise any utterly safe crypto landscape. Verena Ross emphasizes that traditional financial products offer protection. So the European Union has been at the forefront of many of financial and regulatory innovations, and its latest venture into digital assets is no exception. The Markets in Crypto Assets legislation, MiCA, approved in April, is Europe's ambitious attempt to bring clarity and oversight to the rapidly evolving world of cryptocurrencies. However, as with any new regulation, there are both proponents and skeptics. So, the transformative power of MiCA. Despite its limitations, Ross acknowledged the transformative potential of MiCA. The legislation is poised to significantly alter the current landscape of crypto regulations, ranging from basic anti-money laundering protocols to more advanced standards that align with MiCA's vision. One of the primary objectives of MiCA is to introduce rules concerning oversight, consumer protection, and environmental measures for crypto assets. These rules are significant for the EU and are set to become a benchmark for the global crypto industry. With the regulation of EU law, other regions worldwide are likely to observe and adopt similar measures, making it a potential game changer in the global regulatory landscape. Hey, Stiff Manure 19, thanks for the like. Hi, Binance user 38E87, also thanks for the like. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see when we go live for other episodes as well. You'll get a notification for that. Thanks for the coffee, W. Capilla. Yeah, sounds good. I can't actually deal with caffeine, otherwise I'd drink a coffee right now for that. Actually, maybe I should do something during the show. Every time somebody sends a coffee or something, I just grab a drink. All right, so let's see. Some of the specific guidelines the law will introduce. These include transparent product details, equitable market operations, and enhanced stability. The overarching goal is to safeguard consumers and ensure the legitimacy of crypto operations. Consumers will be better informed about products and their associated risks, Ross added, emphasizing the consumer-centric approach of the legislation. I've been pleasantly surprised at consumer-centric approaches from the EU, specifically on privacy. On digital privacy, they were really, really good. I'm still surprised that was that good. Like GDPR rules. It's been very helpful as a developer in the past, as a user of different platforms as well. Just very practical way of doing it. Challenges and criticisms. Is MiCA ready for the future? While MiCA offers a comprehensive framework for digital asset issuance and trading, it's essential to note that it was crafted before the events of 2022. These events brought to light new risks and factors that regulators and industry stakeholders need to consider. This raises the question, is MiCA adaptable enough to address the ever-evolving challenges of the crypto world? Moreover, some industry experts believe that certain aspects of MiCA might be too stringent. For instance, the legislation's stance on algorithmic stablecoins and its mandates for companies providing crypto asset custody have raised eyebrows. These concerns highlight the delicate balance regulators must strike between ensuring safety and not stifling innovation. However, it's worth noting that all parts of the MiCA rules are expected to be fully operational for crypto businesses in the EU by the end of 2024. This gives regulators and industry players ample time to iron out any kinks and ensure the legislation is as effective and relevant as possible. So, like MiCA regulations are also going to be applied in other countries to some extent, especially the ones trying to join the EU, like Montenegro. I would imagine Albania and the Balkan countries, and perhaps even Turkey. We'll see how that goes. Hey, Saba Nadim 32B7A. Nice to have you with us. Thanks for joining. Let's keep going. Got a lot of news to cover since we didn't cover the news during the weekend. We played a game. Hi, Binance user 58C40. I believe it's either Arabic or Farsi. Not sure. Binance CEO reveals ban on futures trading for staff amid insider trading claims. That could be smart. So the CEO of Binance, Changpeng Zhao, has revealed that all employees of Binance, including himself, are now barred from participating in futures trading. Wow. The move is a part of the cryptocurrency exchange's ongoing endeavors to prioritize integrity and prevent potential conflicts of interest within its workforce. That's amazing. The product testing team has a specially assigned quota account. However, he revealed that they hold. Okay, that makes sense. Like for testing, you have to be able to make sure everything works before. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Having done QA, like that would have to be a special situation there. The exchange's policy requires employees to maintain positions for 90 days before trading, promoting long-term cryptocurrency investments. The company has established an internal security team to monitor employee trading across multiple platforms to enforce these guidelines. Wow, they're serious about it. Any employee found violating these rules will face termination. Zhao's tweet and announcement of these internal rules demonstrate the exchange's commitment to fostering accountability and responsible trading. By deterring futures trading and closely monitoring employee activities, it aims to strengthen its reputation as a reliable and trustworthy cryptocurrency exchange. Zhao's announcement demonstrates a significant stride towards transparency, accountability, and ethical conduct within the cryptocurrency exchange. This self-regulation sets a precedent for responsible business practices in the digital asset world. Wow. Recently, Binance froze more than $2 million due to a suspected insider trading controversy. The catalyst for this action was a tweet from Fatman Terra, a well-known cryptocurrency trader and influencer, who raised allegations that Binance had facilitated insider trading activities on its platform. Well, it looks like they took huge strides to fix that. Celsius Network's bankruptcy plan approved. Creditors to vote on asset acquisition by Fahrenheit Consortium. See how this is going. Celsius Network received judicial approval for a bankruptcy escape plan, allowing Fahrenheit to acquire its assets. Creditors may recover between 67 and 85% of their holdings, with voting on the proposal set for August the 24th, so in 3 days, up until September 22nd. That's like a whole month of votes. The proposal requires court ratification in October, marking a significant step in Celsius's journey out of bankruptcy. That's amazing. That should be really helpful. The new deal, valued at roughly $2 billion, includes securing $450 million to $500 million to liquid crypto funds and building crypto mining facilities, including a new 100-megawatt plant. The group of buyers includes prominent firms such as venture capital investor Arrington Capital and miner US Bitcoin Group Corp. That makes sense that they would want to mine crypto if that's the name of their company. If they're a Bitcoin mining corporation. China's central bank bolsters defense of yuan. Let's see, how did they do this? I remember Friday we were asking if they were trying to do anything at all. People's Bank of China is reinforcing its defense of the yuan amid economic concerns. Recent indicators highlight weakening exports and reduced consumer confidence in China. Following a surprise rate cut, the PBOC set the yuan's daily midpoint at RMB 7.2006 to the dollar, contrasting starkly with analysts' estimates. That is a strange thing. Experts like Huishan from Goldman Sachs articulate the bank's dilemma. Ideally, the People's Bank of China would favor a rate cut without seeing the renminbi depreciate. But considering the current muscle of the dollar and the towering interest rates in the US, it's a near impossible balancing act. Current market dynamics are reshaping the narrative for China. In previous times of economic strain, China could often count on the intrinsic strength of its own economic fundamentals. But now with US Treasury bonds yields soaring to a 16-year high, the economic disparity between US and China widens, making the challenge even more daunting. Yep, well, it's part of the geopolitical situation too. ETF investors to foot bill for meme stock risk cut. What? Okay. US transitioning to T+1 trade settlement in May, aiming to reduce market risks. Critics argue this shift burdens ETF investors, especially those outside the US. Mismatch in settlement timings to escalate costs for investors. Foreign exchange markets also face challenges due to the change. What? The upcoming switch to a trade plus 1 day settlement system in the US next May doesn't come without strings attached. That's a huge change. While the move aims to cut back on credit, market, and liquidity risks, critics argue that it carries with it a heavy financial burden. The brunt of this shift, alarmingly, may fall squarely on the shoulders of ETF investors, especially those outside the US. Although the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission contends that the T+1 system can ward off potential risks for market participants, there's a clear divide in perception. A primary concern? The ETF industry, especially in entities with international market exposure, is forecasted to grapple with amplified costs. Why? Because while the U.S. hurries forward with the T+1 protocol, the rest of the world will remain settled in the T+2 framework. This divergence isn't mere semantics, but carries tangible implications. In the meticulous world of ETFs, there exists a network of primary markets authorized participants, APs, who spot and seize upon price discrepancies between ETFs and their underlying assets. Regular investors, however, engage in secondary market trades involving shares from these APs. With the T+1 mandate, a disconcerting mismatch emerges. European-based ETFs, for instance, will operate on T+2, but any US-based assets they cling to will be bound by the T+1 regimen. Okay, that's... I press... says he's deaf, so I'm going to write him. I am Preston Nirma 85. Nice to have you with us. So BRICS Bank launches ZAR bonds. What this means. The new development bank of the BRICS group has launched its first ever bonds in South African rand. The move is aimed at bolstering local currency fundraising and lending. While China has seen a local NDB bond issuances, this is the bank's initial foray outside of China. Okay. With a 1.5 billion rand bond issuance, the NDB the new development bank, is clearly not here for a penny-pinching party. The BRICS institution has found itself in the treacherous waters of needing to escalate local currency fundraising and lending. This move isn't just about keeping up with banking trends, it's a survival tactic. While China has hosted the bank's local currency bonds before, this Czar bond is the NDB's debut act on a stage outside its Chinese comfort zone. But was this transition smooth? Far from it. The bank managed to reel in over 2.5 billion rand in bids from both 3 and 5 year stretches, pushing them to expand their trade capacity from a projected 1 billion rand to 1.5 billion rand. The figures are impressive, and the involvement of both institutional investors and local banks shows a mixed bag of trust and skepticism. Underneath the glitter of this new launch, the NDB has a grand vision, one where it marks its territory in the local capital markets of its member countries. By doing so, the bank hopes to fund its dynamic portfolio of local currency loans, a critical step in a world increasingly skeptical of global financial conglomerates. But here's the catch. While the proceeds from this Czar bond will go toward infrastructure and sustainable projects in South Africa, one must question if this is just a one-off or the beginning of a new trend for the bank. Since its inception in 2015, the NDB had one main aim: to hand over the reins of development financing to BRICS. But have they succeeded? South Africa's Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana doesn't seem to think so. Despite its tall promises, the bank's track record in local currency lending is lackluster, to say the least. In the upcoming BRICS summit this August in Johannesburg, the usage of member states' national currencies will be a hot topic. And while NDB's Leslie Maastrup has vocalized the bank's ambition to elevate local currency lending to 30%, one must ponder, is this feasible? As of now, the bank's lending patterns have a significant Chinese yuan imprint, making one question if the other BRICS nations are merely spectators in this financial play. While the Czar bond issuance might seem like a step in the right direction, it's crucial to dissect the bank's motives and future plans. Is the NDB truly looking to diversify and invest in its member nations, or is this another strategic move to pacify dissenting voices? Only time will tell. For now, the financial world watches with bated breath. The new development bank's Czar venture could either pave the way for a new financial era or become another blip in the ever-volatile world of international banking. Hello, Binance user E022C. Nice to have you with us. South Africa has some major problems. I was just watching a documentary about all the corruption in the government, and since Mandela was president, so it was quite a long, or quite a lot of scams against the people to cover. Basically, presidents building their homes with money from the government and things like that. It's just sad to watch. The biggest economy in Africa just turning on itself and hurting itself more than anybody else could. It was crazy to watch. Yeah, so I don't have a lot of hope for South Africa's development at this point. It looks like they have more corruption than a lot of their neighbors. So Google versus Department of Justice, big tech under scrutiny and test case. Google is facing a significant trial against the U.S. Department of Justice, reminiscent of the U.S. government's past legal challenge against Microsoft. Despite potential legal implications, big tech companies like Alphabet, Google's parent company, have seen robust stock market performances. Regulatory efforts, both in the U.S. and globally, have thus far had minimal impact on big tech's dominance in their respective markets. Decades ago, the U.S. took Microsoft to task. Now the crosshairs are on Google. The fundamental question that arises: will this legal drama mark the beginning of a leveled playing field, allowing competitors to carve out a more significant piece of the mobile search market pie? Google's parent company, Alphabet, seemingly undeterred by the looming trial, has witnessed a robust 47% increase in share value this year. Big tech companies have been steering the stock market to impressive highs. Despite the global sentiment shifting against unchecked tech supremacy since 2017, the stock market paints a picture of undeterred investor confidence. Critics argue that despite the regulatory rumblings in Washington and a series of fines slapped on Google by Brussels, there has been negligible impact on the big tech dominance in their key markets. The inability of regulators to rein in tech giants has been glaring. The introduction of the EU's Digital Markets Act might be a significant move, but in the US, authorities have often been seen playing catch up, attempting to mold existing laws to govern ever evolving tech entities. The courts, traditionally favoring the consumer, have shown reluctance in clipping big tech's wings. The modus operandi of tech companies is simple yet effective: provide services that directly benefit consumers, be it in the form of reduced prices or free internet services. These are hard to argue against, especially when the perceived immediate advantages to the consumer are evident. It's noteworthy that the US Federal Trade Commission couldn't prevent Microsoft's massive acquisition of gaming titan Activision Blizzard. The underlying sentiment: the courts need concrete evidence of direct consumer harm, regardless of competitor complaints. Google's impending trial hinges upon its deals with device manufacturers, ensuring its search engine remains the go-to default on Android devices. The tech behemoth defends its practices, likening them to cereal companies paying extra for prime supermarket shelf space. Google further cautions that meddling with such practices could lead to repercussions, including escalated phone prices for consumers. Parallel to Google's impending trial, whispers suggest Amazon might soon be under the scanner for its e-commerce activities. The central concern here is Amazon's alleged coercive tactics, making third-party sellers opt for additional paid services to guaranteed product visibility. And while these sellers make up a considerable chunk of Amazon's revenue, the company's share prices remain unshaken, having surged by 57% this year. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. China Evergrande Group files for U.S. bankruptcy protection amid $31.7 billion debt restructuring. Wow. China Evergrande Group filed for U.S. bankruptcy protection as part of a $31.7 billion debt restructuring. Evergrande's default in 2021 sparked a property crisis in China, leading to other major developers' defaults. The company's restructuring plan and a recent $500 million investment may provide a pathway towards recovery. In a landmark move that underscores the severity of China's property crisis, China Evergrande Group, one of the country's top-selling developers, filed for U.S. bankruptcy protection as part of a massive $31.7 billion debt restructuring. So, Chapter 15 of the U.S. Bankruptcy Code, which shields non-U.S. companies undergoing restructurings from creditors, is part of one of the world's biggest debt restructurings. The move comes amid growing anxiety over China's worsening property crisis and its impact on the weakening economy. Evergrande's offshore debt restructuring involves bonds, collateral, and repurchase obligations, with a total of $31.7 billion. Once China's second largest property developer, Evergrande borrowed heavily and defaulted on its debt in 2021, sparking a massive property crisis. This could turn into 2018 crisis for them, or 2008, the subprime loan crisis basically for China. That's what it's been looking like. The Chinese government throwing lots of funds into it to keep things going. The SEC seeks expedited appeal in Ripple's XRP case. We'll see if they get it or not. Further in the news, I believe. LiFi introduces multi-bridge governance solution amidst Uniswap controversy. After a contentious debate on Uniswap's bridge security, LiFi introduced a multi-message aggregator for decentralized governance, allowing votes to be confirmed by multiple bridges. While LiFi's solution promises enhanced security, it awaits an audit. Meanwhile, other protocols like Gnosis's Hashi face scrutiny for their readiness in the DeFi landscape. On January 24th, the DAO members voted in favor of deploying the second copy to BSC. They also decided to employ the bridging protocol Celer, CELER, for transmitting messages between BSC and Ethereum. However, this decision was not without its detractors. Concerns were raised about the security of Celer Bridge, with many fearing its vulnerability to cross-chain governance attacks. Opponents of the Celer Bridge suggested alternatives like Wormhole, Layer 0, or the Bridge. Despite these concerns, a significant number of participants stood by the decision to use Ciller. The debate culminated in a second vote on January 31st, where Wormhole emerged as the preferred choice for governance bridging. Notably, this decision was not unanimous. Only 62% of Uniswap tokens were used to cast yes votes, a stark contrast to many other Uniswap DAO proposals that often witnessed near unanimous voting patterns. A significant takeaway from this debate was the consensus on the need for multiple bridges. Many believed that relying on a single bridge was risky. If a bridge were compromised, having multiple bridges would act as a failsafe, rejecting any malicious messages and thwarting potential attacks. However, at that time, no such multi-bridge solution existed. This gap in the market led to the argument that Wormhole should be the interim choice until a more robust solution was developed. LiFi's recent announcement promises to address the concerns raised during the Uniswap debate. Chand described their new bridge aggregator as a future-proof solution for different cross-chain messaging needs. This means that in the future, protocols won't have to depend on a singular bridge for governance messages, potentially eliminating a significant point of vulnerability. LiFi is not alone in its endeavor to create a multi-bridge aggregator for DAO governance. Early in March, Gnosis had launched a similar protocol named Hashi. However, by June, a Uniswap DAO committee had expressed reservations about Hashi's readiness for production. So there are a bunch of multi-bridge options coming out. Hi, it's Nan143. Hi, Asif Jamal. Nice to have you guys with us. Interesting. Crypto.com to list PayPal USD. Wow, that was fast. Is PayPal USD out already? PayPal introduced the PYUSD stablecoin, leading to listings on crypto exchanges like Crypto.com. PYUSD, backed by US dollars, aims to enable efficient transfers but faces concerns over backing and fees. PayPal suspended UK customers' crypto purchases to comply with new regulations while existing holdings remain accessible. That's awesome. All right. The shocking costs of Bitcoin mining. So a recent CoinGecko study revealed that the average electricity cost to mine a single Bitcoin at the household level is $46,291.24, with significant cost disparities across regions. While Europe has the highest average household electricity cost for mining, Asia offers the most profitability, with 34 out of 65 countries providing cost-effective solo Bitcoin mining. Despite potential profits, 9 countries have banned cryptocurrency mining, trading, and use, yet most of these nations still offer profitable solo Bitcoin mining opportunities. Wow. Oh, there's a map. I love maps. Okay, so let's look. Least expensive. Looking at places like... Okay, how is this? Is this K? So this is dollar per kilowatt hour. Okay. So for example, the US is at $46.28 thousand per kilowatt hour. If I'm reading this correctly. Household electricity costs calculated using 8 Bitcoin mining models and globalpetrolprices.com data from December 2022. Okay. Canada is at $33,000 per kilowatt hour. Iceland is at 39,000. Let's see what's France at. Do we have France? Italy is at 208,000. That's really high. Brazil is at 45,000, so it's under the US, not as low as Canada. And then you have like Argentina, it's at $9,000. Nigeria, $7,700 per kilowatt hour. China is at $19,950 per kilowatt hour. South Korea at 29,000. Russia at 14,000. Kazakhstan at 12,000. So unless a Bitcoin, let's see, the average cost of electricity to mine a single Bitcoin at the household level stands at $46,291.24, which is actually about the US level. So it's more expensive in Germany at $163,000. Is this to mine 1 Bitcoin? Damn. That's super expensive. I mean, a Bitcoin is worth quite a lot. The cheapest is Lebanon at $260 to mine a Bitcoin, according to this. I don't know if Lebanon has a sustainable means of generating energy or a stable political system right now. I don't know if Hezbollah would let you mine Bitcoin in peace, for example, in the south of the country. And the north is like, I mean, most of the country is right on the Syrian border, which had all kinds of issues. Interesting thought. Maybe all sides can get together and just mine Bitcoin. That would be a really funny peace story. Italy has the most expensive, $208,000. So just curious how this is. 82 countries find Bitcoin mining unprofitable. The most profitable countries for Bitcoin mining based on low electricity costs are primarily in Asia and Africa: Lebanon, Iran, Syria, Ethiopia, and Sudan. Yeah, I don't see any, like, I guess Iran is kind of stable, but I'm not sure what the rules are on Bitcoin mining. Interesting. Friend.tech secures seed round funding from Paradigm, distributes 100 million points in airdrop. Friend.tech, a decentralized social platform, secured seed round funding from Paradigm earlier this year. The platform recently concluded its inaugural Friday Points airdrop, benefiting 44,000 users. Hi, Sharik, OLX, and World Hytham. Hey, 772, 628, 332. Salam alaikum. Hi, Khalid, 27, 21, 41, 47, 0. Nice to have you guys with us. Yeah, so this is looking pretty good. As part of its 6-month beta phase, the platform had previously disclosed plans to distribute 100 million points to its app testers through these airdrops. The distribution of these points occurs on Fridays and carries a specific significance that will come into play after the beta period culminates. Friend.tech. It's got bunny ears. I just realized that's the logo. FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried seeks permission to work with legal team outside detention center. Why? Permission to spend 5 weekdays outside of the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. SBF's legal representatives have stated that their client needs help reviewing the extensive case documents while confined to the detention center. Everdell argued that allowing SBF access to his legal team and an internet-enabled laptop on courthouse premises would speed up the proceedings. So they might actually let him into the courthouse to do that. Just last week, the government produced 750,000 pages of Slack communications, which were supposed to be produced months ago, that Mr. Bankman-Fried will have no hope of reviewing under this schedule. So his lawyer emphasized the significance of this arrangement, given that SBF's fraud trial is scheduled to start in October. OpenSea shifts focus from BSC to Layer 2 solutions amid rapid NFT innovation. OpenSea, a leading Web3 NFT marketplace, has discontinued support for Binance Smart Chain, a major Layer 1 blockchain. So they did this after ending many ways for NFT creators to receive royalties. The decision to drop BSC support was driven by OpenSea's desire to focus on its promising initiatives, as the cost of supporting BSC outweighed the impact. Despite the discontinuation of BSC support, users can still view, discover, and transfer BSC NFTs within the OpenSea platform. So the company announced on August the 18th, a year after initially integrating BSC. Wow. They're going to be looking at layer 2 solutions such as Coinbase's Base and Zora. Hence, the choice to deprecate BSC, a layer 1 blockchain, aligns with the company's focus on layer 2 blockchains. Well, it looks like there's more and more space for NFT marketplaces to compete on different blockchains and do different things. It's getting very confusing. PayPal's PYUSD stablecoin debuts on Kraken, set to trade from August 21st. That's today. So if I go to Kraken right now, do they have PYUSD? Looking at prices right now, let's see. Do we have PYUSD? I would imagine it'd be in trending assets. Recently listed. Search PYUSD. Okay, I don't see it on there yet. So starting August 21st, I guess not yet. So like maybe later in the day. The addition of PYUSD trading on Kraken marks a major milestone in the cryptocurrency world. To fund their Kraken accounts with PYUSD, users can navigate to the Funding tab, select the asset, and click the Deposit button. However, it is crucial to note that only deposits made on the Ethereum network will be processed. And that's why I can't see it without like logging in or something. Expert warns of shifts, dollars fall, Wall Street blind spots. Peter Grandich warns of significant economic changes stemming from the BRICS bloc, particularly with alliances like China and Saudi Arabia. These alliances could impact the global reliance on the US dollar and its strength. Keep your eyes sharp and focused, especially if you're keeping tabs on the global financial playground. The BRICS countries, a powerhouse conglomerate of emerging economies, are on the brink of shaking up global economic dynamics, with moves so momentous they could mirror the seismic impacts of the Industrial Revolution, according to this guy. So they're gearing up for the impending BRICS summit that starts tomorrow in Johannesburg, South Africa. One such strategic move, according to Grandich, could involve China and oil-rich Saudi Arabia creating alliances that might reorient global trade dynamics. Such an alliance could spur dramatic shifts, particularly in how nations interact with the United States and its currency, the dollar. Notably, Grandich's insights aren't isolated rants. They resonate with concerns raised by the former U.S. President Donald Trump regarding the waning strength of the American dollar. If these nations are indeed pivoting away from the U.S. and its dollar, the consequences could be vast and transformative. So, for example, if Saudi Arabia only took yuan as a currency, that would be a big difference. Okay. So we'll see how that goes. I find it strange to see Iran and Saudi Arabia trying to join a group in common, as they've been enemies for a long time now. And for kind of good reason, usually. Yuga Labs winds down support for OpenSea over royalty enforcement removal. Yep, that's what I was talking about. Yuga Labs will reduce support for OpenSea due to the removal of the royalty enforcement tool. The decision was praised by the NFT community, but highlights a divide over creator royalties. The situation sparks a debate on ethics and rights in the NFT industry, possibly shaping its future. As far as I'm concerned, if somebody makes a work of art and they put a royalty on it, they should get their royalty. I don't have... Hi, Binance user B4DFC. Hi, Windboss, :1303. And Binance user A14C7. Nice to have you guys with us. Hi. So in a decisive response to OpenSea's announcements, let's see what they write. Yuga Labs wrote, on OpenSea's decision to sunset their operator filter, at Yuga Labs, we are committed to help foster an ecosystem where new and innovative content is created and where creators are rewarded for their work. In light of OpenSea's announcement yesterday that they will be sunsetting the OpenSea operator filter, they introduced and moving to optional creator fees on all secondary sales for all collections by February 2024. Yuga Labs will begin the process of sunsetting support for OpenSea's Seaport for all upgradable contracts and any new collections, with the aim of this being complete in February 2024 in tandem with OpenSea's approach. For as much as NFTs have been about users truly owning their digital assets, they've also been about empowering creators. Yuga believes in protecting creator royalties so creators are properly compensated for their work. It's by Daniel Allegre, the CEO of Yuga Labs. Mark Cuban said, not collecting and paying royalties on NFT sales is a huge mistake by OpenSea. It diminished trust in the platform and hurts the industry. And I say this as an OpenSea investor. Wow. Yeah, I see that as a really stupid decision, at least in the short and medium term. We'll see if people like the fact that they can sell NFTs without the royalty being respected on OpenSea. I could see some people not caring about the artist and just looking for a way to sell it and make it the maximum amount they can, and some people not even realizing that the royalties aren't being paid to the creator. The U.S. economy's strength spurs rethink on interest rates. Recent data paints the U.S. economy in a light of resilience and strength, challenging prior estimations. This newfound vigor, coupled with lingering inflation, suggests that easing price pressures might be a longer journey than anticipated. Investors, in response, are recalibrating their forecasts on when rate cuts might commence. So we're expecting more rate hikes, it looks like. Okay, New Zealand urges caution on swift crypto regulation. New Zealand advocates a cautious approach to cryptocurrency regulation. Instead of rushing, the country emphasizes adaptability and consistent guidance under existing laws. So, trying to balance innovation and control. I think everybody's trying to do that. Some are more on one end of the spectrum than the other. Crypto gaming scams alert Philippines police warn of millions at risk as fraudulent play-to-earn schemes surge. We've discussed this before. Twitter gains major advantage because of this. What is this? Zuckerberg introduced Threads to rival Twitter X, initially gaining 44 million users, despite blunders by Musk on X, including visibility tweaks and a rise in ads. X remains dominant. Threads' pitch of being a peaceful alternative lacked the raw debate and drama that attracts users to X. Like, if you just want something boring, go watch, like, I don't know, scenery videos filmed with drones. Don't go on a conversational platform. So that's a really bad way to sell a communication platform. Why X still dominates despite Threads' initial promise. When Elon Musk took control of X, the platform went through a whirlwind of change. Critics argue Musk's alterations leaned more towards blunders than calculated moves. He tweaked visibility parameters, making it difficult to view tweets and share links. He played with an increase in ads and nurtured a fertile ground for bots. And let's not forget the rather awkward rebranding. Any other brand, given this whirlwind of seemingly poor decisions, would have gone under. Yet X, a platform radiating with bustling chatter and debates, remains unparalleled. The prospect of joining live conversations about ongoing events is irresistible. Mastodon and Blue Sky, alternative platforms, have intricate usage dynamics, and Clubhouse's popularity vanished almost as quickly as it surfaced. X remains the behemoth, the irreplaceable titan of rapid-fire public discourse. Threads, however, did promise a glimmer of hope. It was simple, straightforward, and had the meta advantage. Backed with a strong integration with Instagram, it had the sheer numbers to bolster its promise. The platform sold itself as a tranquil landscape devoid of aggressive dialogues or vitriolic disputes, but herein lay its primary fault. Two critical elements have kept X at the forefront despite Threads' initial momentum. Firstly, the very toxicity from which Threads sought to distance itself is the adrenaline that powers X. People crave real, raw, and sometimes unrefined debates. Yeah, I've said some things on Twitter to some people I'm not necessarily proud of, but yeah. Twitter is, X is an interesting place. China boosts investor confidence with these key moves. By strategically reinforcing its currency and initiating crucial reforms, the nation seeks to weather economic challenges and restore belief in the strength and sustainability of its financial sectors. Let's see, what are they doing? The echoing sounds of missed payments, most notably by heavyweights like Country Garden, one of China's primary home builders, and the stumbling Zhongxi conglomerates, has only amplified apprehensions. The property sector, contributing to over a quarter of China's economic engine, has taken a hit following the dramatic default of developer China Evergrande in 2021. Evergrande's recent filing for bankruptcy protection stateside underscores the magnitude of the challenge. Yet amidst this landscape, China is not taking it lying down. The country's ambitious strategy to restore confidence has multiple components. China's Securities Regulatory Commission is stepping into the limelight, outlining reforms aimed squarely at rallying investor sentiment in the capital market. With proposals to extend trading hours for both stock and bond markets, there's a proactive bid to foster a more robust trading environment. Additionally, slashing transaction fees and endorsing share buybacks signals a strategic push towards stabilizing stock prices. On the monetary front, the People's Bank of China has been flexing its muscles to bolster the renminbi, a response in part to a recent unexpected interest rate cut. It's clear that the People's Bank of China is under the gun to amplify growth. An infusion of a hefty 757 billion renminbi into the banking system is testament to that. Their ambitious daily midpoint setting for the renminbi, defying analyst expectations, further showcases their proactive approach. So the Chinese yuan and renminbi are the same thing. I just wanted to make sure. CNY is the official ISO 4217 abbreviation. The renminbi is the official name of the currency in China, but it's also called the Chinese yuan internationally. So renminbi is the Chinese name for it, basically. Hi, Lukman, MD Feroz Ahmed, Binance user F765F. Hi, Lookman145. Hi, Karadine. Hi, Nearland. Are you trying to say that your stream is starting? Is that why you're jumping in here and talking about your stream? Strange. Hi, Nearland. Hi, Raphael. 36, 58, 72, 55. How are you guys doing? All right. So, yeah, China's trying to save their economy. Makes sense. If they didn't, I'd be worried. Elon Musk's X to remove account blocking ability. Ooh. Elon Musk's X, formerly Twitter, plans to remove the account blocking feature. Only direct messages will retain the block feature. The mute function remains. Critics raise concerns over increased hate speech and anti-Semitism since Musk's takeover. From what I've seen, that's not entirely true. There was a lot of hate speech before. Removing the block feature may conflict with Apple's App Store and Google Play's guidelines. Okay, but you can mute. To the regular Joe or Jane on the street, the block feature on X was their personal guardian, a way to fortify their social wall, ensuring that unwanted profiles couldn't peek into their posts, shoot them a message, or tag along as a follower. But Musk, ever the maverick, has decided to phase this out, with a single exception reserved for direct messages. For those thinking they've been left defenseless, X is holding on to the mute feature. Unlike blocking, which is akin to flashing a neon "you're not welcome" sign, muting is a more subtle nudge under the table. The muted wouldn't even realize they've been relegated to the shadows of your social media space. Musk has always been a staunch champion of free speech, a no-holds-barred enthusiast, but this stance has come with its share of critics. They argued that under his watch, the corridors of X become louder with hate speech. Well, yeah, I know. They've said that before he even took over, as a kind of like a way, like, ooh, he's a boogeyman. So we'll see. Amidst the cacophony of criticisms, ex-chief executive Linda Yaccarino jumps into the fray. Addressing concerns from anti-bullying advocates, Yakarina underlines a commitment to user safety on X. Without divulging much, she hints at the drawing board brimming with innovative ideas poised to better the current blocking and muting mechanisms. So we're going to see some innovation. That'll be good. It hasn't changed much in years until recently. Simultaneous approval of all Ethereum ETFs on the horizon. We'll see if that happens. That'd be awesome. UK's inflation woes, solutions on the horizon. I have friends in the UK. Let's see what's going on for them. While much of the world appears to be tempering their inflation issues, the UK still grapples with the specter of soaring consumer prices. China's wading through deflation, and the US and Eurozone seem to have controlled their escalating prices. Yet the UK stands out with its inflation rate soaring at a staggering 17.6% over the past 2 years. This rampant inflation has the nation's financial pundits scratching their heads, especially when July's figures hint that the major culprits are food and energy prices, notorious for their volatility. So it shouldn't be like a stable up for 2 years. That's unusual, basically is what that's saying. So the Bank of England has been in the trenches trying to rein in this economic beast, despite hiking interest rates to a 15-year high of 5.25% after 14 successive raises. Inflation remains stubbornly resistant. It's hard to not sense the rising levels of frustration and surprise among economists. The persistence of the UK's inflationary pressure starkly contrasts with the milder economic landscapes in the US and Eurozone. It's like trying to anchor a ship in a storm with a weight that's just not heavy enough. The nitty-gritty paints an even grimmer picture. Core UK inflation seems stuck in quicksand at 6.9%, with service prices spiraling to levels unseen since the early 90s. Whether it's the cost of a weekend getaway, dining out, or just finding a place to call home, Britons are feeling the squeeze. The inflationary fever doesn't seem to be breaking anytime soon, prompting tough questions about the bank's next move. September's highly anticipated Monetary Policy Committee meeting looms large, especially given the speculation surrounding potential interest rate hikes. While one might hope that the latest inflationary data is just a transient blip, predictions aren't so optimistic. If the bank does opt for yet another rate hike in September, many are questioning if it'll be the last for a while. There's more to the story than just persistent price pressures. Annual wages have surged to 8.2% in recent months, the sharpest descent since 2001. Whoa, hi, Binance user E9D69. So it's a balancing act. Need their economy to grow, and at the same time they have to cut inflation. Cardano unveils enhanced Hydra version, a potential catalyst for ADO's price surge? ? Cardano's latest Hydra version 0.12.0 upgrade offers enhanced node synchronization, new API endpoints, and improved on-chain performance, aiming to attract Web 3.0 developers and researchers. Following the release of the Hydra upgrade, ADA's price has seen a 1.51% increase, hinting at a possible positive price trajectory influenced by the platform's continuous innovations. Prominent Cardano developer Sebastian Nagel relayed this news to the crypto community via X. The latest version was rolled out earlier this week, and Nagel was quick to share its release notes and a concise summary for enthusiasts and investors. This is a significant leap for Cardano's quest for scalability and efficiency. It went live on mainnet on July 30th, signaling Cardano's commitment to refining the synchronization processes of its nodes. We'll see how this goes. There's a lot of potential when blockchains upgrade like that. Hi, Binance user A77DF. Ahmed712 and Binance user E9D69. Nice to have you guys with us as well. Liquidation looms. DeFi ecosystem faces another bailout with Venus Protocol's $30 million event. BNB's price dipped below the liquidation threshold, leading the BNB core team to liquidate $30 million in USD debt. seizing $33 million of BNB collateral. Despite the recent liquidation, the position's health remains at risk, with potential further liquidation if BNB's price drops to around $210.80. Fascinating. Checkout.com ends partnership with Binance amidst compliance concerns. Checkout.com terminated its contract with Binance, citing concerns over regulatory actions and the crypto giant's compliance controls. The once flourishing partnership between the two companies faced challenges, emphasizing the volatile nature of the crypto sector and the importance of robust security measures. Interesting. China to bring reduced lending rates amid slowing economy growth. So they might actually give loans for lower interest rates. That's fascinating. Be one of the only countries in the world to do that. To its fundamental, so China is poised to implement substantial reductions to its fundamental lending rates this year. The prevailing consensus among economists surveyed is that the one-year loan prime rate will experience a reduction of 15 basis points. That's quite a bit. SEC's interlocutory appeal on Ripple XRP was a big mistake. John Deaton agrees. Greg Buke, an attorney and crypto enthusiast, took it to X, saying that the interlocutory appeal was a big mistake for the SEC. Ripple maintains that despite the SEC's ability to appeal, the primary legal case should advance concurrently with the appeal process. We'll see how that goes. There's a lot going on there. Shiba Inu's Layer 2 solution Shibarium resumes operations amidst challenges. Did they fix everything? Shiba Inu's Layer 2 blockchain Shibarium successfully restarts after a pause following its launch due to high user demand. Collaboration with the Alchemy team scales Shibarium's operations by 1,500%, showcasing innovation within the Shiba Inu ecosystem. SHIB paper released, and Shibarium resumes operations privately, with plans for public reopening in progress. Okay. Today marks the second day of scaling efforts for Shibarium, and the team has made significant progress. Nice. So they're building it up for it to deal with everything else that's going on. It's fascinating. China's economy declining as U.S. economy shows signs of recovering. That's just what's happening. Gemini responds to SEC lawsuit calling for dismissal of allegations. Let's see how this goes. This is before trial. So, cryptocurrency exchange Gemini responds to SEC lawsuits by filing a reply brief seeking the dismissal of allegations regarding unregistered securities in its Gemini Earn service. Gemini's defense questions the SEC's failure to provide key details about alleged securities, emphasizing adherence to legal principles in the Securities Act's plain language. So they're saying there are no grounds for the SEC to take them to court. North Korean hackers loot over $200 million in crypto in 2023, totaling $2 billion in 5 years. Wow, 2022 is a lot. Actually, 2023 is 200 million. It was 800 million in 2022. Let's see. Last year was the most successful year for hackers, with over $800 million in cryptocurrency stolen. 3 major attacks targeted DeFi protocols, including a $625 million theft from the Ronin Bridge in March. North Korean hackers have been using various techniques to launder stolen funds, such as chain hopping and mixers, and quickly cashing out through exchanges with lower KYC AML controls. In June this year, hackers focused on Atomic Wallet users and stole around $100 million worth of various cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tron, XRP, Stellar, Dogecoin, and Litecoin. According to TRM Labs, the criminals transferred the stolen Ethereum to different addresses they controlled using wrapped Ether that they had stolen. They then exchanged the WETH for wrapped Bitcoin, WBTC, and later converted it to Bitcoin, which they sent to mixing services to hide the source of the coins. So it's important to have good cybersecurity, because they'll attack you if they think that you have enough funds for it to be worth their time. It doesn't mean you have enough funds for it to be worth their time. They'll still try. Hi, Binance user F00CF, Binance user E6B8C, Kevin Dufdo, I like that name, Lukman145, nice to have you guys with us. Enjoy your gifts discussion over here. Hello, Benojira Medabir and Believer23, nice to have you guys with us. Wow, it's quite a few of you just jumped in. So, dollarization will be the downfall of Argentina is the name of this article. Argentina's decision to fully dollarize is a significant risk. Presidential hopeful Javier Milei promotes dollarization as a solution to the country's economic issues. Global investors and financial experts like Mark Sobel of the OMFIF caution against it, highlighting potential catastrophic consequences. So I spoke with some people from Argentina recently, and their currency is diving into the sea with a rock on its feet, basically. It's in a suicidal tailspin. If it were an airplane, it would be crashing into a mountain right now. Their currency was worth $1 a few years ago, and now it's 700 of their currency for $1, over 700. So it's pretty crazy. Javier Milei isn't shy about his intentions. He's out there loud and clear, pitching full dollarization as Argentina's economic elixir. He's gone as far as claiming to have the necessary funds to eliminate the local currency and dismantle the central bank. A bold move, no doubt, but is it the right one? He would also allow people to use whatever currency they feel like using in their day-to-day lives, and then pay taxes and that sort of thing in dollars as a start. Perhaps they would use crypto in the future. He is a anarcho-capitalist, which is something Argentina hasn't tried. They've tried classical Chicago economics, and then they've tried what I can only call like retarded leftist economics. I don't know what else to call it because it's worked so badly and impoverished so many people in South America, not just Argentina in general, and then around the world. It's just been like, I don't want to call it trash economics. Trashonomics? That doesn't sound right. But yeah. So it's Mark Sobel of the U.S. chairperson. So he's the U.S. chairperson of the Official Monetary and Financial Institutions Forum, and a former U.S. Treasury official says this might be an issue. For Sobel and many who've been down this road, dollarization isn't a casual stroll in the park. It's a perilous leap. Sure, it might curb the unchecked discretions officials currently enjoy with currency management, but the fallout could be potentially catastrophic. If history offers lessons, Argentina would do well to remember the ill-fated convertibility plan. Pegging the peso to the dollar seemed promising in the 1990s, but the aftermath was economic mayhem. Not right away. Argentina grappled with escalating unemployment and a staggering current account deficit. Funding external deficits became a Herculean task, culminating in the plan's eventual disintegration. That's why, well, that president wasn't allowed to run again. And when they had the other party take control, they started messing up the convertibility system. But here's the rub. The convertibility plan, with all its flaws, at least had an escape route. Dollarization, on the other hand, could be a dead end. If things go south, Argentina might find itself cornered with no exit strategy in sight. What Argentina truly needs isn't a hasty transition to the dollar, but a comprehensive overhaul of its economic framework. Think fiscal consolidation, curbing incessant borrowing, reining in skyrocketing inflation, and putting an end to the ceaseless cycles of default and instability. It's about time Argentina put the brakes on reserve money creation, even if it's a bitter pill to swallow. The nation's economic landscape also cries out for a sequenced liberalization. Forget multiple exchange rates or capital controls. A robust banking system is what Argentina needs to fortify its economy. Banks aren't really the solution. While change is crucial for Argentina, it must be carefully chartered. keeping the lessons of the past in sight. Dollarization might seem like a tempting quick fix, but it's a high-risk game. It could either be Argentina's golden ticket or its undoing. The stakes are astronomical, and the world watches with bated breath. Argentina teeters on the brink of an economic precipice. If it goes to dollarization right away, after the elections, they would have to default on their debt. Expert, BRICS expansion accelerates de-dollarization. Right now, BRICS expansion just makes BRICS even more unstable. U.S. alerts space firms, beware foreign espionage. Yes, that's been a problem for a long time. Uzbekistan grants approval for MasterCard-backed crypto cards by Ravnak Bank and Capital Bank. That's fascinating. 2 banks in Uzbekistan are now offering crypto. Do we know which cryptos? Let's see. Because that could be important for making some smart decisions. We don't. So Uzbekistan's NAPP authorizes Ravnak Bank and Capital Bank, that's the National Agency of Prospective Projects, to issue MasterCard-backed crypto cards as part of a pilot project. The banks will offer virtual cards linked to cryptocurrency wallets, enabling swift conversion to fiat money. The project aims for a full launch by late December 2023. I wonder if this will have a huge impact for Russians living in the country to be able to buy and sell things online. We'll see. So much happened last week in Asia's crypto scene. Yeah, it was hard to keep track. Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, new crypto regulations and investigations. South and North Korea, data breaches and $200 million theft by hackers. China, Dubai, Kazakhstan, fraud cases, fines, and mining shutdowns. I think that sums it up. That's what happened last week. Uphold remains 100% loyal to XRP, states its CEO. Okay, what does that mean for everybody else? That's good for them. NFT platform Recur stops operation despite $50 million funding. Why? I actually run a platform, so I don't understand why you would stop if you have $50 million. Recur, an NFT-focused startup, is closing down despite having raised $50 million and partnered with major brands like Nickelodeon and Hello Kitty. The platform will phase out key features including NFT retrievals, trades, and stablecoin cashouts due to unforeseen market challenges. Having once been valued at $333 million, Recur's digital collectibles will migrate to the Interplanetary File System, or IPFS, to ensure their longevity. It's reading too fast. The popular NFT-centric startup Recur revealed its impending closure plans Friday in an internal blog post. Despite securing a hefty $50 million in funding and partnerships with massive brands such as Nickelodeon and Hello Kitty, Recur seems to have been caught off guard into the tumultuous whirlwind of the crypto domain. They must have had massive overheads, I can't imagine. Dogecoin's leading developer Mishabor expresses reservations about proof of stake. Mishabor hints at possibly stepping away from Dogecoin development if a transition to proof of stake is pursued, citing concerns over centralization and the system's inherent flaws. While proof of stake offers benefits like energy efficiency, Mishabor suggests alternative solutions like payment channels might be more aligned with Dogecoin's objectives. So is there something other than proof of work and proof of stake? For him, it'd be the end if he... So, yeah. Interesting. That's a big debate in crypto. And like a huge debate. Shibarium's strategic transition to private mode, an overview of the latest developments. So we talked about that. Friend.tech surpasses Uniswap and Bitcoin networks, generating over $1 million within 24 hours. What? Friend.tech launched in beta on August the 11th, allows users to tokenize their social network, generating over $1 million in fees within a day, outpacing Uniswap and Bitcoin. While the platform's rapid growth is attributed to its unique monetization model, experts highlight potential challenges, including the rising share prices leading to smaller user groups. We'll see how that goes. China urging the BRICS coalition to evolve into a geopolitical challenger to the G7. That's interesting. We'll see if that happens. The Indian rupee outperforms emerging market currencies despite approaching its all-time low. That means the emerging markets are doing really bad. The Indian rupee is on the brink of a historic low, but still maintains its status as a preferred choice among certain investors within emerging markets. All right. Token founder swindled in $250,000 scam, points finger at Crypto.com. Why? Brian Lawrence, the founder of Glow Token, has filed a lawsuit against Crypto.com after losing $250,000 and his home in a scam involving individuals posing as Crypto.com employees. He alleges negligence and a lack of security protocols on the part of the exchange. The lawsuit accuses Crypto.com of breaching of contract and claims over $250,000 in damages. Lawrence's situation has also led to health issues, with 4 hospitalizations for stomach problems attributed to stress from the events. Yes, crypto is a very stressful thing, isn't it? China's ambitious plan to dominate the metaverse raises alarming concerns. How? China Mobile, a state-owned telecommunications company, has put forth proposals suggesting the creation of a digital identification system for users in these virtual environments. The primary purpose of this proposed digital ID system is to maintain order and safety within the virtual world. What makes this proposal particularly noteworthy is its resemblance to China's existing social credit system, which is still in development. FTX bankruptcy battle escalates as debtors bow to U.S. trustees' pressure. Okay, U.S. Treasury's sanctions on Tornado Cash upheld by federal court. So let's see if those goes in, though, how much Tornado Cash will have to pay if that goes into effect. China cuts rates again by modest margin as the U.S. economy struggles to recover. Vitalik Buterin transfers 600... What? Sorry, China cuts rates again by modest margin as the economy struggles to recover. So that's China only news. Vitalik Buterin transfers 600 Ether to Coinbase amid rising selling pressure on Ethereum. So I wonder what's going to happen there. Popular Web3 platform Recurred to shut down its NFT platform despite $50 million raise. Yeah, we talked about that already. Oman's MTCIT unveils massive $350 million Bitcoin mining facility in Salalah Free Zone. What? That would be huge. So the MTCIT in Oman has inaugurated a cutting-edge Bitcoin mining and data hosting facility in the Salalah Free Zone valued at around $350 million. Exahertz International oversees the construction of these advanced mining centers. Kyrgyzstan has initiated a crypto mining venture adjacent to the Kambar Ata 2 hydropower plant, investing $20 million in leveraging sustainable hydroelectric power. That's fascinating. I kind of want to buy a land with a river where I can just, mine Bitcoin. That'd be awesome. Let's take a quick look at the market today, see what's going on there. All right, so let's see who the biggest winners are in the last 24 hours. Optimism up 4.31%. First of all, fear and greed index is 35. That's worse than Friday. So we're in a down spin right now. Hedera H-bar up 2.88%. Litecoin up 2.60% in the last 24 hours. Litecoin is at $66.42. Optimism is at $1.54. Sorry. Let's see who's dropped the most. Rune from Thorchain dropped 10.50%. Have a bunch here that dropped just under 5%. It's a ton from Toncoin, Sui from Sui, obviously. SNX dropped 4.14% to $2.13. CRV is down to 48 cents. XRP is down to 52 cents. Still going down after going down 16% over the last 7 days. And let's look at the bigger ones. Like Bitcoin is at $26,088.75. We might actually go under $26,000 at this rate. It's up a little bit in the last hour, but down overall in the last 24. Let's see. Ethereum, $1,674.55, up 0.03% in the last 24 hours. So there's some positive news there. BNB is at $211.05. If it hits that 210.8, we'll see some things happen there. It's up almost 1% in the last hour, but down 2.55 in the last 24. Monero is at $147.27. Almost no change in the last hour, down 0.70 in the last 24 hours. So let's look at the 24-hour volume here. We've got most Tether, Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDC, TrueUSD, XRP. So we have the stable coins moving up right now, which is interesting. BUSD, BNB, Litecoin, Polygon. Polygon's Matic at 56 cents, down 1.87% in the last 24 hours, up 46.46 points in the last hour. Sol is at $21.27. Dogecoin is at 6 cents. ADA by Cardano is 26 cents. SHIB is up almost 1% in the last hour, down 2.66% in the last 24 hours. Let's see what's happening in this hour. Cash Network, Optimism, Sweet, Conflicts, and Gala from Gala Games are up in the last hour. Nothing much there. Everything else seems to be going pretty much smooth, except for Leo from Unis said Leo. It's down 1% over the last hour. All right, I think that wraps it up for today. Thank you for watching. Have a great afternoon, evening, or day, depending on your time zone. Definitely like and subscribe. And because if you subscribe, you will get notifications for our shows about the news tomorrow and the next days, and then maybe some special weekend stuff, and also the interviews we do sometimes on Fridays. Have a great day. Thanks for joining us. Bye.